Good afternoon. Welcome to the Department of Health and Human Services Small Business Monthly Acquisition Training. My name is Val Waldemeyer, and I'm the Business Management Specialist for the VETS 2 Government-Wide Acquisition Contracts at U.S. General Services Administration. These monthly trainings are geared to provide acquisition guidance, tools, and resources to help the Department and other federal agencies meet your annual small business goals. During and after the training, if you have questions, please email sbmail@hhs.gov, and your questions will be answered. Upon completion of the training, you will receive a survey link to complete. You must fill out and submit the survey in order to receive your continuous learning points for the training. Once you have successfully submitted the survey, your Certificate of Achievement with earned CLPs will be sent within 1 week. Now I'll get started on today's program, the VETS 2 Government-Wide Acquisition Contract for GSA. I work with the Office of IT Category, the Small Business Government-Wide Acquisition Contracts Division. We're located in Kansas City, Missouri, and we manage the 8A STARS 2 contract along with the VETS 2 contract. Our office is very passionate about supporting small businesses. We have a sister office located in San Diego, California, that manages the Alliant 2 contract, which is an unrestricted contract vehicle. The objectives of the training today are for you to obtain a basic understanding of GSA GWACs, be able to identify the features and benefits of the VETS 2 contract, and understand how to place an order against the contract. Then we want you to know how to recognize your roles and responsibilities as an ordering contracting officer. You will be able to access and utilize the various tools and resources available to you as well. Our agenda today starts with just giving you a background on the GWAC overview and then talking more about the VETS 2 master contract information. We'll delve into the scope, what kind of task orders can be placed on the VETS 2 contract, as well as how to place a task order and the cost and price associated with the contract. Then we'll go over your roles and responsibilities as the ordering contracting officer and provide you with some tools that are available for you as you go through the task order process. So what is a GWAC? It stands for Government-Wide Acquisition Contract. It's basically an IDIQ. It's an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, task order type contract for IT services. It's established by one agency, GSA, holds the executive agency status as designated by OMB, and we manage that contract, and it's available government-wide. Some of the VETS 2 features, the first thing I want to mention is it is a best-in-class contract. So OMB has provided government-wide spend under management goals, and the purpose of this program is to reduce duplicative contracting efforts. Therefore, the funding agency, as you place a task order on VETS 2, you would receive a best-in-class status by using this existing contract vehicle. VETS 2 also has a comprehensive IT scope. Basically, anything IT services will fit under the VETS 2 contract. And it's our service-disabled, veteran-owned small business set-aside, so you will receive SDV OSB credit when you use this contract. There are 31 standardized labor categories on the contract, and I'll show you later on in the presentation where you can get those ceiling prices and find out more information about what those standardized labor categories are. But the benefit of having that is it provides you an apples-to-apples comparison for the contractors. And there are 70 highly qualified contractors available on the contract. So I want to tell you a little bit more about our industry partners. We have 70 companies that are on the contract, and this contract was very difficult to get on. We had an extensive procurement phase as part of selecting these 70 firms. And we were incredibly impressed with the caliber of the companies that submitted proposals. We required them to submit 10 relevant experience projects across the scope of work for the VETS 2 to ensure that we're bringing you only those most highly qualified companies. So they all have extensive past performance across the federal government. Additionally, 61 of the 70 vendors hold an audited and approved cost accounting system. So what that shows is these firms are well established and they can do cost type work for you if that's something you're interested in using. Additionally, 66 of the 70 hold secret or top secret facility level clearances. So if you need a top secret level clearance, you do not have to go through that process from beginning to end. It's already available on the contract. And 40 industry partners have CMMI, which stands for Capabilities Maturity Model Integration, Level 2 or higher, and ISO 9001 credentials. So these industry partners are established IT firms and leaders in the IT industry. And just to drive that point home a little bit more, this slide shows you where the core capabilities are for the 70 industry partners that are on the contract. So some of the things I want to point out here, this is a recent survey that we did across the 70 industry partners to refresh and understand what are they focusing on, what are they providing government customers right now. And cybersecurity is the leading area of concern, and that is where our industry partners focus on. They are leaders in the cybersecurity arena. They also focus on agile software development. Health IT is another area of expertise available on the contract, along with cloud computing. So I want to point out some of our task order successes that we've had on the VETS 2 contract. We have had small task orders that are under $1 million, all the way up to task orders that are $130 million. And that was a task order through GSA's FedSim in support of the Army for IT, communications, technology, operations and maintenance, and IT security. We've also seen task orders, $19 million for Department of Army, $29 million for the Air Force, and a $74.6 million task order in support of DHS for security assessment and vulnerability analysis services. So our industry partners kind of run the gamut of where they can help support the federal government. There are flexible ordering procedures available on VETS 2, which means you can place the task order yourself as the ordering contracting officer, or you could also go through GSA's Assisted Acquisition Service, and we can place a task order on your behalf. There's streamlined ordering procedures, which mean you can do a two-phased process. You could provide your solicitation out to all 70 of the industry partners, and then only provide the full requirement to those that have opted in. VETS 2 allows for long-term planning of your task order needs. You can place a task order up to 10 years, inclusive of options, from the date the task order is placed. And there's limited ability to protest. If you have a task order that's $10 million and under, it's virtually protest-proof. It can only be protested on the grounds that it conflicts with the master contract, period of performance, total contract value, or scope. So as long as it's an IT service, it's virtually protest-proof, 10 million and under. And there's also worldwide geographic coverage available on the VETS 2 contract. Some of the master contract information that we would like to point out is the NAICS code is 541512. So this is not limiting your scope. You really can place anything that's an IT service on the VETS 2 contract. But when you put your task order into FPDS, it will show up under this NAICS code, is the master contract NAICS code. And it's also the NAICS code that's used to determine the SDV OSB status of our industry partners. There's a $5 billion program ceiling, and the notice to proceed for this contract was issued in February 23rd of 2018. It's a 5-year contract with one 5-year option, so the ordering period, if exercised, would go through February 22nd of 2028. So orders can extend up to 10 years inclusive of options, and if you place your order during the period of performance, it can extend up to 5 years beyond the ordering period. There are multiple contract types allowed on the VETS 2 contract. You can do a fixed firm price, cost reimbursement, time and material, labor hour, or any combination or hybrid of those task order types. And there is a contract access fee. It's a GSA fee. It's the same as GSA schedules. So if you're familiar with Schedule 70 or other contract vehicles within GSA have the same fee, it's 0.75%. So 0.75%. And the one thing you do need to know is this is remitted by the industry partner, so you don't have to worry about providing us with that fee. The industry partner is responsible for that, but we do ask that you separate that out in a separate CLIN structure so it can be clear what that is. So let's talk a little bit more about the VETS 2 scope of work. The scope can include anything that's IT services based, both commercial and non-commercial. It falls under the Clean Air Cohen Act, which defines what an IT service is. You can tailor your scope of work to meet your agency mission needs and include things that are not IT in nature as long as it's supporting your IT service. So here's a couple of scope areas that are listed in Section C of the contract: data management, information communications technology, operations and maintenance, cybersecurity, software development, system designs, and new and emerging technologies. We included this category of new and emerging technologies in order to ensure that this contract would be evergreen over the life of the contract. Since it is a 5-year contract with a 5-year option, we know the IT services industry is going to continue to grow and emerge. And having this availability within the scope is critical for ensuring the VETS 2 stays comprehensive and broad in scope and able to provide the government what is necessary in the IT services arena. VETS 2 has scope flexibilities. The contractor can provide ancillary support as long as it's integral and necessary for the IT service-based effort. So what does ancillary support mean? It could include things like clerical support, data entry, products and IT products, minor construction and alterations, server racks, and software licenses. So one example might be if you need an IT services help desk, that would be considered an IT service. But if in order to set up that help desk, you need to run some cabling and maybe punch a hole through a wall to do that. That would be considered minor construction, but you can include it in your task order as long as it's supporting your overall IT service. So some scope restrictions that we have to let you know about. The government, you cannot do leasing of real and personal property. The government cannot be the lessee or liable for cancellation fees, and you can't use lease-like incremental purchase arrangements. Additionally, because VETS 2 is set up as an IDIQ, you cannot do an IDIQ against an IDIQ per current FAR regulations. So BPAs and letter contracts are not permissible order types, and the sole purpose of the requirement can't be for commodity or commodity-like service. So I want to point out this website. It's gsa.gov/GWAC scope review. If you have a scope of work and you're not sure whether it's a good fit of VETS 2, you can send it into our office and we'll review your scope of work and we'll provide you with a written opinion within 5 to 7 business days. So this is not required. It's free of service and there's no obligation to then put that scope of work on VETS 2. It's simply a free service that we provide to you to ensure you have something in your file. So if you have a mix between IT services and non-IT services and you want to make sure that it will fit under the VETS 2 scope, please submit your scope of work review. Just upload it to the website. Include your IGCE if you have a government estimate. That helps us see the breakdown between services and non-services. and then we'll let you know, and you have something for your contract file. I will say that this is not a required step. If you have a scope of work on your desk, you know it's an IT service, it's a simple task order, you can simply just issue that directly to VETS 2. Next, I'm going to talk about what is an interagency acquisition. An interagency acquisition is when a customer agency receives goods and services from a servicing agency. So in this case, GSA would be the servicing agency and HHS would be the funding agency. A best procurement approach determination is no longer required. This is a new memorandum that came out from OMB recently, last June, stating that it's already in the government's best interest to use this GWAC contract, so you do not have to go through that additional step. So there are a couple different ways you can place task orders on the contract. One is doing a direct acquisition, meaning you, HHS, would be the contracting officer, considered the ordering contracting officer, and then you would place and administer the task order yourself, or you can use GSA's assisted acquisition service, who can issue a task order on your behalf for an additional fee. So what is the task order process? This slide walks you through what that basic task order process is. If you're already a contracting officer, this is going to seem very simple to you. Basically, the first step is to obtain your delegation of procurement authority. In order to place a task order on the GWAC, you need to have that piece of paper from our office, and I'll show you at the end of this training. You can go to our website and request that. Once you're a delegated contracting officer, you can then issue a task order directly. You would develop your acquisition strategy and provide fair opportunity to all of the VETS 2 contract holders, receive those proposals, evaluate them, and issue the task order. We would like to have a copy of that task order document. Just send that back to us, and then you would monitor the task order through closeout. The ordering contracting officer must provide each industry partner with a fair opportunity to be considered. So for every order over $3,500, unless you're using one of the statutory exceptions listed in FAR 16505. And those statutory exceptions are listed on this slide. Basically, it's urgency, unique capability, logical follow-on, necessity to satisfy a minimum guarantee, or the last bullet point has set-aside orders. So you can do a set-aside against a set-aside. This being already an SDV/OSB set-aside, you can do an 8A set-aside or a woman-owned set-aside on the VETS 2 contract, but that will limit your competition. So we suggest giving fair opportunity to all of our industry partners. If you do use one of the exceptions to fair opportunity as listed in the FAR, make sure that you're providing a written justification and approval, and you're posting that in accordance with the FAR guidelines for orders above the simplified acquisition threshold. The ordering contracting officer may exercise broad discretion when you're developing and placing your order. So you do need to provide our industry partners with fair opportunity, and you will be using FAR 16505. So that is a huge benefit to using VETS 2 is there are streamlined ordering methods in FAR 16505. You do not have to go through full and open competition of FAR Part 15. You can use a multi-phased approach. You could do oral proposals. In the last bullet point on our ordering slide, FAR 15.3 source selection approach is discretionary. I would go so far as to say it's discouraged. The benefit of using VETS 2 is that you can fall under FAR 16505 and have that streamlined ordering procedures available to you. So there's not a need to go through the extensive process of FAR Part 15. Additionally, for task orders exceeding 5.5 million, please ensure that you have a clear statement of work, a reasonable response period. You're disclosing the factors and subfactors that you're going to use to evaluate the proposals and their relative importance, as well as whether or not this award is going to be a best value basis, and the importance of quality and price or cost factors. So you do need to provide an opportunity for post-award debrief if you have a task order exceeding 5.5 million. Some other ordering considerations: the master contract clauses do flow down to the task order level, but at the task order level you can add agency-specific clauses. You can tailor those, and you can tailor the master clauses if you need to. You can add special or unique requirements. For example, in our example earlier, if you're setting up the help desk and you end up doing a little minor construction as part of that task order, make sure you include the wage rate requirements. That's not something that's included at the master contract level. So if you're adding something that's ancillary in nature to support your IT service, please ensure that you include the correct clauses. Same with the service contract labor standards. If you're adding professional services, you may want to include that at your task order level. And then, of course, you can tailor the master contract clauses and provisions to ensure they're meeting your agency requirements. Subcontracting considerations are also important to note. Individual subcontractors were not approved as part of the master contract award, and our contractors do need to comply with FAR 52.244 and FAR 44.2 as applicable at the task order level. Some limitations on subcontracting include our industry partners do need to do a meaningful amount of the work on the task order. This cannot be a pass-through type contract. Additionally, since it's a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, they need to perform at least 50% of the cost of the contract with their own personnel or the personnel of another SDV OSB firm. So you will see teaming and subcontracting within the industry partners on the contract since they are all SDV OSB companies. Individual task orders that require facility security clearances or a cost accounting system, only those industry partners that hold that requirement at the time the solicitation is posted can then provide you with proposals. So unless you specify otherwise as the ordering contracting officer. So if you decide you're going to sponsor that industry partner through the security clearance process, you can do that. But the default is if you need top secret, only those industry partners have top secret can provide you with a proposal. Next up is cost and price. Ordering contracting officers do need to evaluate cost and price and make an overall determination that your task order is fair and reasonable. When adequate price competition exists, you don't have to have additional information in order to make that price reasonableness. And adequate price competition does prohibit OCOs from obtaining that certified cost and pricing data. And I will say that even though we have 70 industry partners on the contract, you will not receive 70 proposals. Each of our industry partners have different core capabilities. So when you post a requirement, the average task order number of proposals that you'll receive on any given task order is between 4 and 5. So you can't expect to get competition. So you should be getting a second layer of competition and pricing at the task order level. For cost reimbursement type orders, you will need to determine and consider cost allocability, allowability, and realism as per FAR requirements. So for the VETS 2 contract, there are 31 labor categories that have been established, and we have maximum fully burdened labor hour rates within CONUS for time and material and labor hour orders. That doesn't specifically apply to firm fixed price task orders, but you can use that information to create your IGCE. And generally, these ceiling rates should not be exceeded. You should be getting that second layer of competition at your task order level. However, if you do need to exceed the rates, you as the ordering contracting officer have that ability. You'll need to document your file as to why you're exceeding the maximum rates. And that has happened if you have a higher level of security, or you're doing work outside the United States, or you have some other unique requirement. If you need an additional labor category, the contractor can propose that, and you as the OCO can accept that additional labor category as long as you're negotiating an appropriate rate at the order level. You would be the determining factor of whether that is cost reasonableness. So you can add additional labor categories that provide skill sets that might not explicitly be defined already in the VETS 2 labor category descriptions. Next, I want to talk about the GWAC office responsibilities and how our office can help support you through the task order process. We're here to conduct trainings. We can provide monthly webinars, or we can go to your office to provide you with training as well. And we issue delegation of procurement authority to the contracting officers. We also provide outreach and education. We work with our industry partners to help them do business development and to grow and emerge their firm, and help them understand how to put together great proposals that lead to excellent performance. We also maintain the resources on our GWAC website, and we perform risk mitigation and contractor oversight. We really help our industry partners make sure they're meeting their contract requirements and monitor that performance. We conduct the pre-award scope reviews, which I mentioned earlier in the presentation, but we also do post-award scope reviews to make sure that there aren't task orders issued against the contract outside of the scope. And we monitor subcontracting at the master contract level. So some of the ordering contracting officer responsibilities are that you need to comply with the terms and conditions of the GWAC contract, FAR, and of course your agency guidance. Ensure the task order work is within the scope of the contract, and that your industry partners are providing fair opportunity, that you are providing fair opportunity to all of our industry partners. And if you need a COTR, you would be responsible for assigning that person as the ordering contracting officer. Some additional responsibilities include making that cost and price reasonableness determination for each task order, and ensuring you're following the FAR requirements. You would also identify the applicable contract CLIN for each task order, and you can use optional CLIN structure. Additional ordering contracting officer responsibilities, and I will say these are going to be listed in your delegation of procurement letter that you receive from our office. You as the ordering contracting officer are required to monitor and evaluate contractor performance. You would enter in your task order information into FPDS-NG and respond to any FOIA or protest requests that might come at the order level. You're required to follow prompt payment and provide reportable task order information back to GSA. And then follow that up with your task order closeout. Okay, next I'm going to talk about what tools are available for you as the ordering office. We've mentioned the optional scope review a couple times. We can also help you with assistance for market research. If you're looking for a particular core capability and you're wondering if VETS 2 has any industry partners available on the contract to provide that core capability, we can help you. We can send an email with questions out to all of our industry partners and package those responses back to you. We also do on-site and virtual trainings. We have an email inbox that this email address will go out to all of our industry partners, the VETS 2 awardees at gsa.gov, and we do recommend you using GSA's eBuy system in order to provide fair opportunity to all of the industry partners. The next slide shows you some of our websites and online resources. If you walk away with nothing else, note the main page website, gsa.gov/GWACs. From there, you can get to all of the information that I've talked about today and research that. You can pull down a copy of each of our contracts. On the VETS 2 page, under Resources, you can get a conformed copy of the contract. You can also download a copy of our ordering guide, which gives you a step-by-step process on how to place a task order. Another tool I want to point out is the GWAC dashboard. The dashboard shows all of the task orders that have been placed against our GWAC contracts. That includes VETS 2, Alliant 2, and 8A Stars 2. So if you're wondering what industry partners are doing business with HHS, you can go to the dashboard and see who has placed a task order, who's won those task orders, the dollar value, who the industry partner is, and what agency they're performing work for. So very valuable resource for market research. You can also see what task orders are coming up for expiration and when that work might become available. GSA's eBuy is an online request for quotes tool. This resource allows you to upload your statement of work and ensures electronic transmission of the proposals, so you know you're getting fair opportunity. You're meeting the fair opportunity requirements. And GSA also has the Acquisition Gateway, which has several different aspects to it. One is the Solution Finder. So if you're looking for contracts that meet for IT services, you can put that in the Solution Finder and it will pull up all of the IT services contracts available to you. You can also sort by best in class. If you're looking for a best in class contract, the Solution Finder will let you know what contracts have received that designation. The Acquisition Gateway also has a document library where you can get templates for creating scope of work or other documents, and an online interactive community where you can talk to other contracting officers that may have similar scope of works. Next up is a screenshot of our website, and this is our GWAC main page. You would go to the menu bar on the left under How to Use GWACs, and from there you can navigate down. There is the ability to request your scope of work review here, your capability statement request. You would also go to the same menu bar for requesting delegation of procurement authority. And this is on our GWAC main page. If you continue to scroll down on the main page, you'll get to the individual contract pages. So you can see there's Alliant 2, 8A Stars 2, and then VETS 2. And then under VETS 2, there's the ability to go to the resources section and the pricing section and the industry partners. So the industry partner page you can download. It's an Excel document that lists all 70 of the industry partners, who their program manager is, what their website is, so you can do some additional market research there. And then the pricing tab, that's where you're going to find the 31 labor categories, the ceiling prices that I mentioned. You can download that document right there on the website. Next is a screenshot of eBuy. So this shows you how to find VETS 2 in the GSA eBuy system. You can just put VETS2 in the search bar at the top, or you can scroll down under technology contracts, and then that would list all of the technology contracts available to you, including GWACs. Once you click on GWACs, then that will lead you to the VETS2 eBuy section. Then our next screenshot is of the acquisition gateway. And I mentioned a couple of the resources within the gateway, the solution finder, the document library. You can also go to eBuy Open. So eBuy Open allows you to see all of the current task orders that are open for accepting proposals. So that's another great resource for you. So what's your next step? If you're a contracting officer and you have a valid government contracting officer warrant, you would go to our gsa.gov/GWAC main page under how to use GWAC, and then click on Request Delegation of Procurement Authority. It's a quick form that you fill out. You provide your personal information, email address, click on that you took the training today, and that you're looking for a Delegation of Procurement Authority for VETS2. And the key is to scroll all the way down and check the box certifying that you have a contracting officer warrant, and then submitting that to us. You'll receive your DPA letter within 2 business days. And here's a screenshot of that, where you would go to request the Delegation of Procurement Authority, and what the request form looks like. And that really wraps up our training today. I just want to provide you with a summary that VETS2 can provide your agency with access to customizable IT solutions from highly qualified pool of industry partners. It is a best-in-class contract for IT services, and you can procure cutting-edge IT solutions. And I just want to mention, VETS2 is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business contract. What makes that great is the industry partners on the contract. They all have extensive experience, specifically working with the federal government, and they have personal experience being part of DoD and having military background. These industry partners know how to get the job done and can really help support you with your task order needs. Now we will take your questions, so please remember to email your questions to sbmail@hhs.gov. Okay, our first question is, why should I use the VETS2 GWAC? So I just want to say the VETS2 GWAC provides you with a comprehensive IT services, and you can use, the reason you would want to use that is because it will help you meet your SDV/OSB goals, and you'll receive cutting-edge technology services through VETS2. So the next question is, how do I access the contract? You would go to the eBuy system and click through those screens to access the contract, and there you can get, on our website, you can actually get a copy of the contract and the ordering guide, which will walk you through how to place a task order on the contract. So that's where you want to start. If you're an ordering contracting officer, you'll want to go to our website and request your Delegation of Procurement Authority so you can learn more and place task orders against the contract. The next question is, can I limit competition on the task orders to a set number of prime contractors? So the short answer is no. You must provide fair opportunity to all 70 of the industry partners, unless you have a qualified FAR exception, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation. So can state and local governments use VETS2 GWAC? Again, the short answer would be no. VETS2 GWAC is set up for federal government use and can be used across the federal government for IT services. And what can you buy? using the VETS2 GWAC, you can purchase anything IT. Any IT service can fit under the scope of work. And if you have questions about your scope of work, you can submit that to us, and we'll be happy to review the scope of work and ensure that it's consistent with the GWAC contract. Our next question is, are BPAs allowed under VETS 2? So the answer to that is no. BPAs and letter contracts are not permissible order types under VETS 2. VETS 2 is an IDIQ, and you cannot currently place an IDIQ against an IDIQ per current FAR regulations. So where can I obtain a copy of the VETS 2 contract? You can go to our website at gsa.gov/VETS2 and download a copy of the contract under the Resources tab. Okay, if there are no other questions, we will wrap up the training today. If you have not already received today's PowerPoint, you will be emailed the PowerPoint presentation along with the VETS 2 ordering guide and a link to our DPA certification form that you can fill out and return to us at vets2@gsa.gov. Next slide. If you have recommendations for future topics, please email sbmail@hhs.gov. We hope you enjoyed today's webinar and thank you for attending. If you do need to reach out to me, my information is available on the last slide. And we have a group email inbox that's monitored by our whole team at vets2@gsa.gov. So please feel free to reach out to us. I just want to thank you again for your time today and the training. I know everyone is busy, especially this time. And we just appreciate you taking the time out to learn about our contract. Thank you. Have a great day.